Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Docket Padama. This time we will be discussing ICT or Information Communication and Technology and the ancient ways of transmitting and storing information. And we will be using the languages Filipino and English in the duration of this particular topic. So by definition, basahin po muna natin. ICT is a technology that processes data into information. I would like to emphasize this particular phrase, processes data into information. This involves the conversion, an action to convert data to information, meaning that data is different from information. Data is raw, and when processed, it is converted into information, and information is now used to what we call decision making. So we are going to emphasize this when we go to the topic data processing. To continue with the definition, through the use of electronic gadgets. So this process utilizes electronic gadgets, communication devices, and application software. So this includes what we call the hardware and the software part of this technology. Now, after being processed, information is now stored, retrieved, and transmitted anytime, anywhere needed. Okay, basically, this is the essence of ICT encapsulated in this particular definition. So now that we have already established the meaning of ICT and the elements involved in ICT, we are now going to go to the ancient ways of transmitting and storing information so that we will have a better understanding of how um, technology came to be in our everyday life, in our present situation. Lahat ng mga ginagamit natin ngayon, everything that you are using, everything that you are consuming, whether it is food, clothes, or even technology, are part of this historical discussion that we will be having with regard to the storage of information and transmission of information. So lahat nagsimula yan dito. Information is crucial for development. Again, information is crucial, important, and relevant to development. Development leads to convenience. Convenience makes life easier for people. So ito lahat ay nagsisimula dito sa tinatawag nating information. So ito yung mga bagay na magpapadali, magpapagaan ng paggawa natin at ng buhay natin. Okay? Now, how did this transmission and storing of information started before the advent of technology? Bago magsimula, yung mga paggamit natin ng mga electronic devices, ganito sinisave ang information. So I have some of the samples in represented by illustrations on the right side of your screen. And these are the following. We are going to go through them comprehensively on the left side, which is presented in text form. So let's start with the illustrations. So these are petroglyphs. So example of petroglyphs are the writing on the walls of caves. So sa loob ng kuweba, meron silang mga recording ng mga ginagawa nila araw-araw, including hunting, yung mga na-invent nila, yung mga na-discover nila, yung mga nakikita nila. So again, this is in relation to storage of information. These were the crude, yung mga sinaunang paraan ng pagsasave ng information during their time. And then, another is hieroglyphics. So these are still recorded in stone. Okay? Yung una, sa mga pader ng kuweba, ito naman, nire-record, kina-carve nila. It is recorded through the carvings in stones, the text that refers to knowledge that was gained during that time. Kung ano yung mga nalaman nila, nire-record nila, yung mga information tungkol sa mga mahahalagang tao nung panahon na yon are recorded through hieroglyphics. And then another, which is not familiar, is Quipu. So Quipu later on will also be discussed kung saan nanggaling yan. But basically, ito yung mga pinagbuhol-buhol na tali kung saan nagiging paraan ng pagre-record din ng information ng taong may hawak o gumagamit nitong tinatawag nating Quipu. Okay, on the other hand, the other area is the transmission of information. Yung pagsisend naman ng information nung panahon na ito, hindi kagaya nung panahon natin na gumagamit tayo ng electronic gadgets and devices in order to facilitate communication. Sa kanila, meron nagsimula na gumamit sila ng smoke signals to transmit messages from distances. Merong iba na through eyesight sa pamamagitan ng nakikita nila yung distansya up to distances na beyond their sight. Okay? So, isa dyan sa mga ginagamit nilang paraan ay yung smoke signals. And then signal fires, medyo mas malayo na siya. From this point, transmitting to this point, transmitting to this point, and so on and so forth. Okay? And then another that uses mirrors and towers. So dito merong mga salamin yan sa taas to transmit signals through the use of Morse code. Okay? So this is called heliograph. And this one is located in the Philippines, specifically in Pampanga. Now, to specifically go through the different ancient ways of transmitting and storing information, we are just going to go through the following. So the first one is oral tradition. So oral referring to verbal communication, not necessarily with the use of formal language depending on the era. So depende kung anong era ito, kung sanay na silang gumamit ng lengguwahe or nung panahon na yon ay puro mga sound lang ang lumalabas sa kanila. But basically, ang tawag pa rin doon is oral communication. So this is the passing down of information, stories, and knowledge verbally from one generation to the next generation. Again, this will depend on the era kung saan ginagawa itong oral communication. But basically, even during the earliest era, ng panahon ng petroglyphs, aside from yung writing, meron na silang mga oral communication, paraan ng pakikipag-usap nung panahon na yon. So that's oral tradition. That's the first one. Okay. The next one is petroglyphs. So petroglyphs, as shown to you earlier, this one is defined as using of rock carvings and paintings on cave walls to convey stories, events, and information. So as presented to you earlier during the discussion, yun yung binanggit natin sa petroglyphs. Number 3, smoke signals. So smoke signals, by definition, creating patterns of smoke with controlled fires to send simple messages used by Native American tribes and other cultures. Smoke signals, aside from simple messages, mas maiksi yung distance niyan. Ito yung smoke signals compared sa signal flares na binanggit natin kanina. Next, the fourth one, drums and percussions. So by definition, again, using drums and other percussion instruments to transmit coded messages through rhythmic patterns as practiced by African and Native American culture. So we do not have an illustration of drums and percussions, but you already have an idea, and doon sa lugar based on where it is related, African and Native American cultures, usually makakarinig kayo ng mga drums, pero hindi lang yan in the form of music, but also it conveys messages. Okay, gamit itong mga sound na nanggagaling dito sa drums na ito. Another, there's a difference with the use of animals. Okay, lalong-lalo na itong pigeon, yung kalapate. Kasi na maraming transmission of messages that uses animals, not only pigeons, hindi lang kalapate, pati kabayo at pati lizard, ginagamit nila during that time. So let's start with the pigeon post. The next one is pigeon post, and this is defined as employing pigeons to carry messages over long distances. Kapag pigeon post, mas mahaba yung distance na tina-travel ng mga kalapate due to their homing abilities, their ability to return doon sa kung saan sila trinain na bumalik. Used in ancient Greece, Rome during wartime, which is true, lalong-lalo na nung panahon ng mga gera ng mga bansa na ito na hindi pa advent ng technology, karaniwan ang ginagamit nila mga hayop, specifically mga kalapate. The next one is heliograph. So heliograph, in the transmission of information, I showed you an illustration earlier. These are mirrors or uses mirrors on top of towers to reflect sunlight to transmit messages over long distances, often utilizing Morse code. So yung Morse code ninyo utilizes yung dot and dash. So since wala pang form ng writing during that time, or if you are going to convert this doon sa form of writing, that's why it's called code. For every code, meron siyang equivalent na letter. So halimbawa, yung SOS is 3 dots and 3 dashes. And then yung mga dots na ito, through the transmission of mirror, yung mas maiksi represents dots. And then yung mas mahaba na ginagamit nila to reflect the sun is the representation ng dash. Kasi usually, originally, ginagamit ito o mas naging popular ang Morse code through the use of sound. So, mas maiksing sound represents the dot, and yung mas mahabang sound represent the dashes. So, this is the use of heliographs. The next one is carrier pigeons. Ito yung sinasabi natin, there's a difference between the use of these pigeons. Now, what do we mean by carrier pigeons? Homing pigeons pa rin. The same with this one, yung homing ability nila. Carrying messages in short distances naman compared to this one, which is mas mahaba yung distansya na tinatravel ng kalapate, with historical records dating back to ancient Persia and China. Siguro itong carrier pigeon naman na ito is after the war, during peacetime, dahil nakita nila na efficient naman yung paggamit ng mga kalapate, yung pagbibigay ng messages ng mabilis ay tinuloy nila through carrier pigeons. Okay, next. Number 7. Semaphore system uses flags. Semaphore system uses flags. We don't have an illustration of this. Usually, dalawang flag yan. And you use your arms and your hand and your shoulder to move these flags para makapag-transmit ng message. So let's read the definition ng semaphore system. Using flags or mechanical arms, kung wala yung tao, they use mechanical arms to spell out messages visually, often transmitted through towers with operators. So, short distance lang ito. Ibig sabihin, dapat nakikita nyo yung nagsisend ng signal dito sa semaphore system. Dahil kapag hindi nyo nakikita, then there will be no transmission of message. So, through line of sight, itong tinatawag nating semaphore system. Kagaya nitong smoke signal, kailangan line of sight ito. Dapat yung pinapadalhan mo ng message, nakikita ka o nakikita yung smoke na pinapadala mo. Hindi kagaya ng signal fires, kahit wala na sa line of sight, nakakarating yung message from one point to another point that cannot be seen by the sender. Okay, to continue, number 9. Animal relay. So animal relay usually uses horses. Alam niyo yung relay, from one point to another point to another point. Okay, we have a relay race where there are multiple participants, multiple runners. Okay? Siguro meron din tayo ditong system na ang nagre-relay naman, ang tumatakbo naman tao. But in this case, animal relay siya. So, ano yung definition ng animal relay? Employing messengers on horseback. Ito naman, yung tagapagdala, tagapag-transmit ng message, taga-transfer ng message, ay nakasakay sa kabayo or other animals aside from horse to relay messages quickly across long distances. So ito yung mga nagdadala ng mensahe na naka-horseback. Ganun lang yung simplified version nitong animal relay. Okay, next. Number 10, message runners. Ito naman ay mga tao ang nagdadala mismo ng message. So, most probably, mas shorter yung distance nito kumpara doon sa animal relay. Itong animal relay can be one horse from one point to another, or kung masyadong mahaba, kasi yung kabayo dito sa animal relay napapagod, doon papasok yung relay. So halimbawa from one area to another area, ihahatid, tapos ibabagsak yung message. At that point, meron namang maghahatid from kung saan ibinagsak, papunta na naman doon sa susunod na destination niya o doon sa susunod na point dahil sa masyadong malayo yung distansya ng pupuntahan ng mensahe. That is why it's called relay. Now, dito sa message runners, utilizing highly trained individuals, mga tao yan, to run long distances, carrying messages as seen in the Inca Empire. So, talagang ancient itong Inca Empire na kung makikita ninyo yung kanilang history, they were one of the advanced race during that time. And isa sa paraan ng kanilang pagtatransmit ng message is through people who are highly trained to run long distances. So ito yung mga equivalent ng mailman nila during that time. Tagahatid ng mga mensahe. At hindi lang yung malalapit, hindi lang ilang kanto, malalayo yung distansya na tinatakbo nitong tinatawag nating message runners. The next one is signal fires. So we have already gave you an illustration itong signal fires that is used in long distances. So yung definition niya, lighting large fires or beacons atop or on top of hills or towers to convey messages across long distances, famously used in the Great Wall of China. So, kung makikita nyo yung Great Wall of China, merong mga tower for every wall. Okay? From one example, if this is the wall, yan, for every area ng wall, merong tower. And the purpose of this tower is also to be able to send or transmit messages through the use of signal fires. Okay, next. Talking drums. So, talking drums is defined as the use of drums that could imitate tonal languages to send messages across distances. This is common in specific African cultures. I think meron din tayong drums dito, yung number 4, drums and percussion. So dito is more on codes. Code ang ginagamit dito sa drums. Anong specific code? Ito Okay, so the code will depend on the race, kung anong lahi yung gumagamit niyan. So they are already familiar with the codes under drums and percussions. Ito naman, dito sa talking drums, ini-imitate niya yung there's a similarity doon sa paraan ng pagsasalita ng tao na naiintindihan ng makakarinig. Okay? So that is talking drums. Next, number 13, kipu. Okay? Or quipu. Kipu. Kipu is defined as the use of colored strings. Ito yung pinakita natin kanina. Ito. May mga colors yan. Nag-fade na lang yan dahil sa sobrang tanda. Employing colored strings with knots may mga buhol na ginagamit dyan, as a system for recording and keeping and potentially transmitting information by showing it to another person na makakasalubong nila by using runners used by Inca civilization. Inca civilization pa lang. So, pwedeng isave lahat ng information dito sa Quipu. And then, if you want to send or transmit these messages, so kung makikita nyo, storage yan. If you want to send this, pwedeng ipadala sa runner. Kasi dito, merong runner yung Incan race na pwede nilang dalhin o i-transmit itong Quipu from one area to another area. Okay, the next one. Gumagamit siya ng butike, lizard. Okay, but this is not the lizard na alam ninyo na yung house lizard. So, using lightweight lizards as message carriers in some Southeast Asian culture. So, again, gumagamit ng lizard. Maraming family ang lizard. So, aside from yung house lizard na familiar tayo, merong mga lizard na tinetrain din nila and nilalagyan nila ng messages either sa legs nila o sa katawan nila. And kapag trained na itong mga lizard na ito, ibig sabihin nakakabalik na sila doon sa pinanggalingan nila. This can also be used, and this is also used to carry and transmit messages. The next one is sea beacon. So, hindi yung bacon ha. Sea beacon. Beacon is a parang intense light that serves as a point kung saan makikita mo yung direction na pupuntahan mo. It's a guide. A beacon is a guide. Okay, by definition, sea beacon, lighting and extinguishing fires in a specific pattern. Yung pagsisindi, pagpapatay at pagbubukas ng ilaw. Okay? On ships and at sea to communicate with other ships or the shore. So, there is a specific part of a ship na pwede kang magsindi ng apoy, but that is dangerous. Okay? But yung mas modern na paraan nito, ang ginagamit na nila is ilaw. So, basically, yung concept ng lighthouse before electricity, apoy din yung ginagamit nila dyan. And then, binubuksan, sinasara nila yung pinanggagalingan ng ilaw na galing sa apoy, and this serves as a message na pwede nilang i-transmit from one point to another. Okay, so that is sea beacon fires. Ginagamit yan sa dagat naman. The next one is hieroglyphics. So you're already familiar with the term hieroglyphics, which refers to a message or a language, communication, storage of messages used by the Egyptians. So by definition, again, hieroglyphics uses pictures, symbols as a form of writing and communication famously practiced by the Egyptians. Again, this is the example ng hieroglyphics that we shown earlier. So as you can see, there are images that are often used kapag hieroglyphics yung makikita niyong example. And these are already stored, saved dito sa mga bato na ito. And as proof, hanggang ngayon, yung mga messages na yan are still preserved and ini-interpret na nila in order to study the culture and tradition of the Egyptians during their specific era. Okay, next. Number 17, carrier horses. So gumagamit naman sila ng kabayo as mentioned in the title, utilizing horses to carry messages in relay systems. So ito, yung binabanggit natin kanina, yung paggamit ng kabayo kapag mas mahaba na yung distansya. But specifically, carrier horses were used during war. During wartime in the medieval Europe. Okay? So ang ginagamit nilang paraan para makapag-send ng message yung isang lugar sa isang lugar is through horse relay or carrier horses. Okay, number 18, yodeling. Yodeling is a form of verbal uh, yung lumalabas na sound. There is a specific pattern doon sa pagsigaw o not o kailangan sumigaw ka para marinig yung message mo. And there's a specific tone na gagamitin mo kapag ginagamit nyo yung yodeling. So, yung definition niya, a distinctive form of vocalization, okay, to communicate across mountainous regions, especially in the Alps. Okay, you can Google yodeling or even in YouTube and try to see yung mga samples ng yodels nila. So again, you have to do this at a very, very loud, hindi lang tone, yung volume in order to be heard at a short distance lang naman. So hindi siya pwedeng pang long distance. Depende yan sa maaabot ng boses mo when you start yodeling. Next, number 19, beacon towers. As mentioned earlier, beacon towers. So ano ito? Building towers at interval which with watchmen, kagaya ng Great Wall of China. They have towers or building towers na interval. And may mga nakabantay doon sa tower na yon who would light fires or signals to convey messages over long distances as seen in the Roman Empire. So aside from the Roman empires na may mga towers sila, even the Great Wall of China also have these towers. So basically, this is how they transmitted and stored information during the sample eras that we mentioned or that we have discussed. And again, we are going to continue with this in our future video discussion. So for now, thank you very much, and I hope you were able to learn something from this discussion regarding ICT, information communication and technology, and the transmission and storing of information during these eras that we have presented. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe and God bless. Bye.